So what have I learned since starting these gig apps? Well, I've got 7 things that I will share with you that I have learned since starting these gig apps. Stick around. Since I'm on the road daily for several hours a day, I've learned a few things. Mainly, people on average do not know how to drive, and they don't have any common sense. Not everybody. I'm not saying everybody. You know, on the average, it seems like a lot of people have lost a little common sense and a whole lot of being courteous. Everybody wants to be in the lead. Everybody thinks that they belong in that lane, whether it's safe to move in that lane or not. Everybody thinks that they need to be, I don't know. I don't know what they. All I know is I have 7 things that I have really noticed, and I'm going to share those with you right now. Now, I know this is not exactly gig related, so to speak, but if you're a gig worker, you're out here every day, and most of you can agree with what I'm saying. And if you disagree, you may be one of those people that fit into these 7 categories here. Let's jump into it. You know where roads are divided with a center lane? It's got solid lines on both sides, but there's an open center lane. That lane is designed for you to pull in, kind of like this. You can pull out of the main flow of traffic and be able to stop and wait till it's clear and turn. I've seen so many people stop, say they're going this way, and there's 2 lanes going that way, and then you got a center lane. They have stopped it. Well, okay. This is the inside lane, and this is the open middle lane between the two sides, directions, if you follow me. Well, look at the picture again, I think you'll understand. But anyway, people will stop in this lane, and they're stopping all the traffic, and there's an open lane right there, that they like a turning lane. A lot of places, it's marked for a turning lane, but it seems like people don't think about that. They have it in their head, they can't cross that solid line, which in a lot of cases is a fact. But there are certain circumstances where that is designed to turn in there so you can get out of the flow of traffic, and then you can turn when it is safe to do so. Number 2, it seems like people have lost a little common sense when they drive mainly out in the rural areas, you know, where you have an improved shoulder, you know, it's 6 to 8 foot wide, and say you're coming up to a turn like this. You're coming up to a turn, and instead of moving, you slow down to a safe speed, okay, and then move over out of the main flow of traffic right before you get to, use it like a turning lane. You scoot over, slow down to a safe speed, scoot over, and turn. You're not disrupting traffic. You're not going to get rear-ended normally. I wouldn't say you're not going to, but your likelihood of getting rear-ended is lessened greatly when you get out of the flow of traffic. But just slow down a little bit and make the turn. And something else, and this one really gets me. This is number 3. Some years ago, the highway department or somebody come up with the idea that left lane is the fast lane. You know, you've got a 4-lane highway, 4-lane divided highway, 6-lane, whatever. It don't even have to be a divided highway. You know, it don't have to have a median in there. But you know, when you're going down like an interstate or whatever, and there's 2 lanes going this way and 2 lanes going that way, or 3 and 3. Anyway, that left lane is not for fast traffic. That left lane is strictly for a passing lane, which means you scoot over, you go around the car that's going slower, then you put on your blinker and you move back over and get out of the way. There's so many people still driving in that left-hand lane, and sometimes it's people that's used to driving in the city, and it's not so important in the city because there's not a whole lot of situations that are like that when you get out in the country or, you know, out in the rural areas, traveling and stuff. But that left lane is a passing lane. It is not I'm driving, okay, for instance, the speed limit's 75. Well, I'm driving 85. I'm in the fast lane. And you dummy, there may be somebody running 90 or 95. Granted, you shouldn't be running that fast, but that lane is a passing lane. It is not meant to drive in that lane. Scoot back over. Drive in the right-hand lane. Unless, and I stress this one greatly because I used to work for the city here, and I really wish people would have moved over. If there is a emergency vehicle, whether it's the police, highway patrol, a broke down car, a tow truck, city workers, state highway workers, county road workers, whatever, then scoot over into the left lane. That way you give them plenty of space. What if your tire blew out right when you was passing them? Rubber goes flying everywhere. If you're over and a little bit further, the likelihood of it hitting them is lessened. So scoot over to get around emergency vehicles unless there's cars blocking your ability to do so, in which case slow down to a safe speed. Different states have different laws on that. I personally, if it was a 75-mile-an-hour speed zone and I couldn't scoot over, I would try to slow down and fall in behind the traffic if at all possible. But if not possible, I would slow down to about 40, 45, about 20 miles less than the designated speed limit. That's just me. Like I said, every state has different laws on that. But be safe. Think about those people sitting on the side of the road. You know, you don't want to fly by them and their car starts shaking and their hair starts flying, because of the wind coming off of your car. Slow down. If you can't give them room, slow down. Number 4, be courteous. When you start pulling out of a parking lot, such as this one here at Walmart, check out this picture. This is what I'm talking about. You have 2 exit lanes. One is to go to the right, one is to go to the left. But sometimes when you get in that right-hand lane, somebody in a pickup or an SUV wants to ease all the way up to where you can't see nothing. Now you got to sit there. There may not be anything coming this way that would hit you, but you can't see that. All you can see is the cars coming this way. So if you drive a larger vehicle, be courteous. Stay back a little bit. Like in my car, you can see over my car in most pickups and stuff. But if a big old pickup pulls up beside me, I can't see around them. And if I try to ease out there to where I can see, guess where my hood's at? Yeah, it's fixing to get removed from the rest of the car. That's not cool. So just be courteous. Consider your fellow drivers. We all got to share the road. Ain't no use in putting each other in harm's way when it is not necessary. And most of the time it's not. Number 5, if you're scared to drive in heavier traffic or just uneasy, not comfortable driving, and you start getting paranoid, and say the speed limit's 45 and you want to drive 30, you probably should either not be driving or find an alternate route to where you're not having to drive in that much traffic or that higher speed traffic. You become a major traffic hazard when you're going down a boulevard in town or even out on the highway, but you're going 25 to 30 miles an hour when the speed limit's 45 to 50. Somebody starts to go around somebody and there you are, creeping along. And remember, if you drive under, 25 miles an hour, you're supposed to turn your flashers on. I've seen people running pretty slow. I don't know that they was running 25. So seriously, if you're scared to drive into traffic or not comfortable driving into heavier traffic or a faster flow of traffic, get out of it. Find an alternate route. Find somebody else to drive for you. Call an Uber. You don't want to get rear-ended because you're driving so slow. And speaking of that, when you are approaching your turn, say you're going down the road and you're going 25, 30 miles an hour, or even if you're going to the main speed, the regular flow of traffic, 45, 50, whatever it is, you get ready to turn. Turn your blinker on, but turn and get out of the flow of traffic. I have seen so many people act like they got a glass of fine wine sitting up on their dash and they're worried and they go real slow like they're on ice. They're driving on ice and they got a glass of wine on the dash and they don't want to slip and they don't want to spill their wine. And they just creep and turn, creep around that corner and turn. You're going to get nailed eventually. And it ain't going to be fun because it's going to shove you around and you'll be like on one of those, you're going to be like on a tilt-a-whirl or something. You get ready to turn. Get out of the road. I'm not saying you got a power slide around that turn. What I'm saying is get around the corner. Don't be a traffic hazard and cause a wreck. They may not hit you, but if they have to slam on their brakes because they wasn't paying attention, because a lot of times they might not have been paying attention, but if you'd have went on and got you out of the road, they wouldn't have had to pay that close of attention, but granted, they should have. So it's a 50-50 deal. That's what I said a while ago. We're all out here sharing the road. Look out for each other. Kind of predict what's going to happen. You don't know what a certain driver is going to do, but think about what they might do. That'll prevent a lot of things. I don't care if it's legal or not. If you're approaching cars and you see a car's right up behind another one, it's against the law for them to whip over in front of you and all that, or dangerous and all that, but you can about bet. But you should be ready just in case they do. Have your foot ready to hit that brake if necessary. Be prepared. And number 6, a lot of people I have seen, because I sit in these Walmart parking lots waiting on my spark order, and a lot of these parking lots, people act like this is a racetrack. They're just flying through here. Imagine a little kid comes running out that door, or you're driving through the parking lot and a little kid jumps out and just runs around and steps out 2 foot. Do you want to live with the knowledge of knowing that because you were driving too fast to a parking lot, you hit a child and possibly killed them? Do you really want to live with that? We'll get to number 7 in a minute. I gotta go pick up a spark order. All right, got that order loaded and I am rolling, heading over to drop the first one off. But number 7, in case you wasn't aware, unless it is designated otherwise with a big sign up on a light pole, light post, pole, whatever you want to call it, basically, if it's not marked no right on red, you can make a right on red. However, that light is red. That means stop. I wish y'all could have saw that car that just went right there. They just turned and went. Did not stop. I don't even know if they looked. You have to stop, then make the right on red. You can't just go. Pay attention. I'd sure hate to see somebody get hit or get a ticket. That would sure ruin a day's earnings. Also, in most places that I know of, see how I've stopped? Now I will continue making the right on red. Stop and then go. But anyway, a lot of places you can make a left on red if, now I repeat, if you're on a one-way and turning onto a one-way. If you're on a two-way street and turning onto a one-way street, can't do it. If you're on a one-way street turning onto a two-way street, can't do it. Has to be on a one-way street turning onto a one-way street. Then you can make a left on red. In most states, everywhere I know of, but it may be different in some areas. I have not been everywhere. The main thing is be courteous and considerate of your fellow drivers and obey the old school laws, because those laws are still laws. It's just a lot of people ain't paying attention to them no more. Y'all keep smiling, dashing, dancing, prancing, doing whatever it is you want to do. Just keep doing something. See y'all in the next video. Bye, y'all. I got to get this unloaded. Bye, y'all.